So hello and welcome to Tuesday evenings Yoga with Phil. Your practice is at your risk, so please pay attention to how your body feels, taking easier options or missing things out where necessary. Just doing what your body needs today. We're going to start lying down. So if you're not there already, taking yourself to lying down on your mat. Coming to a comfortable posture, that may well be Shavasana, hands away from your body, palms turned up, feet out towards the corners of your mat. But it's absolutely fine, particularly if you've got any discomfort in your lower back at this early point in the class, to have your knees bent, feet planted on the ground. And as you lie there, there's nothing particular to do right now, just relax, just let yourself go. Allow your day to go. Just holding on to anything you need for the next hour of yoga. Anything else can be allowed to drift away. Bringing your attention inwards, ready for today's class. Being aware of the back of your body. We'll just take a scan through the back of the body, through the areas where there's the most contact with the ground. Starting down at the feet, where the heels are touching the ground, coming up to the calves. Being aware of the contact your calves have against your mat. Upwards to your hips, to your upper back, pressing against the mat. Down to the back of your hand, to your elbow, back to your upper back, to the back of your head. Having an awareness of all of those points of the back of your body, connecting you to the mat, connecting you to the earth. Those points of connection allowing you to relax your body, knowing that it's well held, knowing that it's well supported. Being aware of your next two breaths there, feeling the rise of the inhale and the fall of the exhale. And bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. Picking up your right foot, so your right knee comes into your towards your chest. Taking your right hand onto your right knee. Your left foot is on the ground. And then starting to draw a circle with your knee, making it as large a circle as you can whilst you're holding on to your knee. So for half the circle, you're trying to make your arm as straight as possible. And for the other half, you're trying to bend your elbow as much as you can so that your knee comes in as close towards you as possible. Feeling that movement in your hip. And then, once you've got that circle established, you could take your hand away and now allow your knee unconstrained to draw the biggest circle possible. And once your knee's circling, your mind will start to drift off to other things, leaving it to it. So keep your attention and awareness inwards, either being aware of your knee and the circle it's drawing, or maybe being aware of what's going on underneath your body, what's rolling on the body as your knee moves, as your hip joint opens and closes. Taking that in the other direction. And then bringing your right knee circling to a halt, landing your right foot down. And picking up your left knee. Hand on your knee to get a good grip, and then start the circling with your left knee. Initially making it as large as you can whilst it has the hold of your hand. Noticing what that feels like underneath your body as you circle with your knee held. And then releasing your knee, taking your hand down to the ground, and now circling as big as you can. Feeling how that now feels underneath. Maybe noticing how you can just take it a little bit further, left to right, backwards and forwards. And then taking that circling in the other direction. And bringing that circling to a halt and landing your left foot down. Letting your legs stretch out. Taking your arms above your head, interlacing your fingers, pointing your palms away if your shoulders are good with that, pointing your toes away, pressing your hands away behind you. So you're making yourself as long as you can. Feeling the skin stretch on the front of your body as you grow longer. And then release the stretch, bringing your hands over by your side. From there, bringing yourself slowly up to sitting. And from sitting upward to standing. So getting ready for sun salutations. Bringing yourself up to the top of your mat. Beginning in a good, strong standing posture. So feet are together. Hands relaxed by your side. Crown of your head lifts to the ceiling. So you feel your whole body lengthen upwards, feet pressing towards the mat, shoulders relaxing, and the top of your chest tilting up. Holding here for 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, bringing your palms together at the centre of your chest. Hello, Tess. Pressing your hands together, lifting your elbows, relaxing your shoulders. Still keeping the crown of your head lifting, your feet pressing down. Reaching your hands up. First of all, just reach them vertically up to the ceiling. Reaching them high and then reaching them higher. So your arms lift out to their sockets. Tilting your rib cage up towards the ceiling, taking your arms back, taking your armpits back as your rib cage tilts up. From your hips, stretching forward and stretching down. Bending your knees as much as you need, allowing your fingertips to touch the ground. Neck muscles relax, head hangs heavy. Hips relax, helping you to come forward over your legs. Right leg all the way back. Lower your knee, lift your gaze, relax your hips. Tuck your right toes under, send your left foot back, coming into a plank. Your shoulders are over your wrists. Your hips are level so that there's a straight line from the back of your neck all the way to your heels. A little bit of core drawn in, so drawing your navel to your spine. Lowering your knees. And then bringing your chest down to the ground. You might keep a little bit of a lift in your hips as you come down. Make contact with chin or forehead if you can. Pressing forward and lifting your face, lifting your chest. Coming up to a small cobra, elbows in close, chest easing forward, elbows easing back. Toes tuck and hips lift to down face dog. Taking them back to your heels first if you want. Lifting your hips on high. Pressing your heels firmly to the mat. Pressing your hands down into the mat and then pushing away with your hands so your chest heads back a little towards your knees. Look between your hands, bringing your right foot through. Find to drop both knees first. Lifting your gaze, relaxing your hips. Bringing your left foot through to join the right, relaxing once more in a forward fold. Everything in your upper body is relaxing over your legs. Fingertips in line with toes. Bending your knees as you reach your arms up. They arc up to the ceiling, looking between them, tilting your rib cage up. Then hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms firmly pressed together. Elbows lift, taking your elbows back a little, really activating the muscles in your upper back. Stretch and reach your hands up, tilting your arms back, lifting them, still pressing them up towards the ceiling. Stretching forward and all the way down, bringing fingertips in line with toes. Left leg all the way back. Lower your knee and lift your gaze. Tucking your left toes under, send your right foot back, come into a plank, strengthening your plank. Press the ground away from you. Relax your shoulders down your back. Lift your knees a little as your heels press away, drawing on your core. So it feels as if someone came and sat on you now, you'd be able to hold them there. Then lowering down, either knees, then chest, or taking your elbows back and coming down in one strong straight line. Pressing forward, lifting your face, lifting your chest, elbows to the back of the room. Toes tuck, hips lift to down face dog. Heels firmly down, hands firmly down, hips lifting towards the ceiling. Straightening your legs, so knees and thighs pressing to the wall behind you. Seeing if you can bring your armpits towards the ground, your chest towards your knees. Looking between your hands, left foot comes through, right knee comes down. Relaxing your hips. Right foot springs forward, relaxing for a moment in your forward fold. Head hanging heavy, and reaching and stretching up. Looking between your hands, taking your arms back, and hands come down. Inhale, exhale. 2 more rounds, flowing with the breath, focusing on the transition from posture to posture as much as the postures themselves. Feet pressed down, crown of your head lifts. We begin with a rest breath. Inhale, exhale, palms pressed firmly together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, stretching and reaching forward and down. Inhale, right leg back, knee down, gaze lifts. Hold your breath, left foot back, coming into plank, shoulder blades easing down your back. Exhale as you lower. Knees then chest all one straight line. Inhale, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands press firmly down. Inhale, right foot through, left knee down, lift your gaze. Exhale, left foot through. Relaxing with the exhale, inhaling, reaching and stretching up, tilting your chest to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressed together. Inhale, stretch and reach up. Exhale, forward and down. Neck muscles relax, crown of your head points to the ground. Inhale, left leg back. Knee down, hips relaxing. Hold your breath, right foot back. Coming into plank, press the ground away from you. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, pressing forward, lifting your face, lifting your chest. Exhaling, toes tuck, hips lift. Heels press down, pressing your chest towards your knees. Inhale, left foot through, right knee down. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhaling, reach and stretch up, looking between your hands. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, extra breath here. Exhale, 1 more round. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, right leg back, knee down. Hold your breath, left foot back. Press your heels away behind you in plank. Exhaling to lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift, heels press down. Inhale, right foot through between your hands, left knee down. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold. Inhale, stretching and reaching up, lifting your arms high to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down. Final side, inhale. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, forward, all the way down. Inhale, left leg back, knee down, hips relax. Hold your breath, right foot back. Looking between your hands, exhale to lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tuck. Final down face dog, hips lift on high, hands press down. Inhale, left foot through, right knee down. Exhale, right foot through. Final forward fold. Inhale, stretching and reaching up and back. Exhale, hands down. Turning your feet to face forward, hands face forward. 2 cooling breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So I've realised I forgot to let you know before the class, we're going to use a belt next. So if you could find something that you can use as a belt, could be a cord from a gown, it could be a tie, a belt, a yoga belt even if you have one. But if you find something that you can use, and then bring yourself to lying down on your mat, coming into a good Shavasana pose where you can take some rest after our sun salutations. Knowing as always that these moments of rest in a class, they're key to giving our bodies a chance to benefit from everything we've just done and be at full strength for whatever comes next. So let your shoulders relax, let your hips relax, let your heels relax, let your hands relax. We're going to give our legs a good stretch. So bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you. And then find your belt. Picking up your right foot, looping the centre of the belt around the ball of your right foot. And then stretching your right leg out along the ground. Holding a belt loop in each hand with your arms straight. So you're holding as close to your foot as you can, whilst taking your head back down to the ground and letting your shoulders relax to the ground. Flex your right foot, so your toes come up towards your right knee, pressing your right knee down. So that leg is strong and straight. And then as you next inhale, let that leg lift, keeping it straight. So only bringing it as high as it's comfortable to go with it straight. And then once it's come as high as it will easily come, just adjust your hands so you're holding with 2 straight arms, as close to your foot as you can easily reach. Let your shoulders relax. As your shoulders relax, you'll maybe feel your knee, your right thigh bone being pulled a little deeper into its socket. And then ease your leg back to its biting point. So you're taking it now to the point where it's definitely, there's some discomfort, but it's not pain. It's a good, healthy stretch down the back of your leg. And then we're going to use our breath to find more biting points. So every time you inhale, just ease that straight leg back a little more. It'll only be a millimetre or 2 to that next biting point. As you exhale, relax your upper body, particularly relaxing your shoulders. So that each time each breath allows you to find a new biting point. It'll only be a millimetre or 2's movement of your toes, but it's allowing you to stretch and lengthen your hamstrings with every breath. So taking one more breath, and then passing both belt loops to your right hand, extending your left arm out to the side at shoulder height. You could keep your left knee bent, that can give you a bit more stability, or you can stretch that left leg out. Then as you next exhale, slowly take your right leg out to the right. Allow the belt to slip through your fingers as the leg comes down, landing your right elbow onto the ground, keeping your leg from coming any closer to your other foot. So you're trying to keep your leg lifted up towards you. And then once your leg has come to a resting place there with your left hip still on the ground, if your left hip's lifted, you might want to take your left hand onto that hip to help press it down. And then just relax there, allowing gravity to stretch out the inside of your right leg. If your left knee's bent, you could take your left knee out to the left. If your left leg's straight, then press your left heel away. And we can all then also press away the left hand out to the left, the right heel out to the right. So you feel like you're just stretching out in every direction. As you next inhale, bring that leg back up to the center. Reach up so you're taking a belt loop in each hand, your arms are straight. Ease that leg back to its current biting points. Passing both belts to your left hand, extending your right arm out along the ground at shoulder height. As you next exhale, start to take your right leg over to the left, rolling out onto the outside of your left leg. If your left knee's bent, then taking your left knee down towards the ground. So you're rolling over, getting a twist in your spine. Bringing that leg as close to the ground as your right shoulder blade lets you. If your right shoulder blade lifts off, you might need to ease your leg up. And then once your leg's as low as it will comfortably go, starting to use the belt to ease that leg up towards the wall that's above your head. If your foot's on the ground, you could maybe release the belt and use your hand underneath that leg. So you're getting a stretch down your hamstring as well as a twist in your spine. Maybe pressing your right hand away from you, your right heel away from you. So your right hand's going right, your right heel's going left. And if your left leg is straight, press your left heel away. Taking one more breath there. And then as you next inhale, lift yourself back up to the center. Take a hold of a belt loop in each hand. Guide that leg back to its final biting point here, relaxing your shoulders as you do. Maybe flexing your foot, drawing your toes towards you, pressing your knee away if that's comfortable for your knee. Then release the belt from your foot and lower your right leg down to the ground. Let your legs relax apart, just take a moment there, being aware of how the right leg feels, how the left leg feels. Then bending both knees once more, picking up your left foot, looping the centre of the belt around the ball of your left foot and sending your left leg out along the ground. So land the heel down, be holding a belt loop in each hand with your arms straight. Flex your left foot so you feel the calves engaged, press your left knee down so that you feel your thighs engage. Then keep them engaged as on your next inhale you lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Just bringing it to as far as it easily goes. There you can reach your hands up so you're holding the belt loop in each hand with your arms straight. Relaxing your shoulders, feeling your left thigh bone come more firmly into the hip socket. And then start using your breath. As you inhale, ease that leg back to its first biting point, and as you exhale, relax your upper body, especially your shoulders. Finding a new biting point on every inhale, knowing that the more you can relax on your exhale, the further your leg will ease back next time you inhale. So this shouldn't feel like straining, pulling, forcing in any way. This is relaxing into a good stretch of your hamstring. So one more breath, finding one more biting point. Maybe being aware of your toes moving against your ceiling. Then passing both belt loops to your left hand, extending your right arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Your awareness is on your right hip. You want to keep that in contact with the ground. Stretching your right leg away if you want to. And then taking your left leg out to the left. Nice and slowly, there's no rush. Let the belt slip through your fingers. Keep your right hip pressing down so your leg's coming down as low as your left hip allows. As soon as your left hip starts to lift off, you might just need to ease your right hip lifts off. You might need to ease your left leg up a little bit more away from the floor. And when your leg's as low as it will comfortably go, just let it relax there. If your left wrist is uncomfortable, you might just want to make sure that your hand is nicely aligned with the wrist. So your hand's not sort of bent on the end of your arm, it's nice and straight. That helps to keep the left wrist comfortable. And then just letting go. Let gravity open and stretch the left inside leg. Keeping your right hand pressing away, maybe pressing your left heel away from you as well, so you're stretching out in both directions. And if your right leg's straight, pressing your right heel away. If your right leg's bent, let your right knee fall out more to the right. As you next inhale, bring that leg back up to the center. Reach up, taking a belt loop in each arm, easing back to your biting point. Passing both belts to your right hand, extending your left arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Your awareness is to your left shoulder as you slowly let that leg come over to the right hand side. Nice and slowly, the belt slips through your fingers. Right elbow comes to the ground. When your foot's as low as it will go, then you can start to use your right arm to ease your left foot up to the wall that's above your head. Keeping your left shoulder blade in connection with the ground. Stretching your left hand to the left, your left heel to the right. And if your right leg's straight, pressing your right heel away there too. Using your next couple of breaths on the exhale, take that as the chance to maybe guide your right leg a little higher towards the wall above your head. On your next inhale, bring that leg back to the center. Reaching up, a final stretch here, so a belt loop in each hand, your arms are straight. Ease that leg back to its final biting point. And then release the belt. Lower your left leg. Let your feet relax apart, turn your palms to face up. Taking a few breaths there. Checking in with left and right legs. Just noticing anything that there is to notice in how your legs feel. And bringing your feet together, stretching your arms up above your head once more. Hat fingers interlaced or separated. Toes pressed forward, stretching long. Releasing the stretch, bringing your hands beside you and coming to sitting. From sitting, come to hands and knees, with your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Once you're there, just let your upper body relax at first. Just let everything relax. You'll maybe get a sense of your abdomen drifting down towards the ground, your back dipping down a little. Then just draw your navel up towards your spine and feel how that strengthens your back, strengthens your core, and how you then feel your back lift up to lower back lift up towards the ceiling so that your back becomes flat. So maybe imagining that someone's placed 3 flutes of champagne on your now level back and you want to avoid them spilling. So keeping your navel drawing up towards your spine so you've got that strength at your core, and then lifting your right leg and stretching your right leg away behind you, keeping your back nice and level. Pressing your right heel away and then slowly lifting your left hand and stretching it forward. Your navel's drawing up towards your spine, so your back is still level. There's not one glass spilt. And then it's fine to spill a glass now, because as you next exhale, you're going to bring your left elbow in and underneath. You're going to bring your right knee forward and make a contact underneath you with elbow and knee, allowing your back to arch up towards the ceiling, tucking your head under and tucking your tailbone under. So you're making yourself as small as you can. And then as you next inhale, stretch that out. So you're stretching your hand forward, stretching your heel back, navel's drawing up towards your spine, so your back is level once more. And then taking up to 5 more of those with your own breath. So that each time you exhale, you're bringing your elbow and knee together underneath you, arching your back up. And every time you inhale, you're stretching it out long, pressing heel back, hands forward. Being aware of your wrists. If this ends up being too strong on your wrists, then come out. Keeping your core engaged so that you have full control. These are nice, steady movements. And then when you have done your 5, stretching out first, and then landing your left hand down, landing your right knee down. Just taking a sit back onto your heels for a moment. So breather in child's pose. Hips close to your heels, forehead down towards the mat, maybe making a fist with your hands to help support your head. Then hands come under shoulders, bringing yourself back to hands and knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Engaging your core so that your back levels out. So really feeling that movement, maybe releasing it and taking it again. So you feel that movement as you engage your core, as your back levels, and then keeping that level, imagining those champagne glasses on your back, as you then extend your right arm forward and your left leg back, keeping that stillness in your lower back. Hand, fingertips press forward, heel presses back, and then nice and slowly starting to bring your elbow under, bringing your knee under, making a connection underneath. Head tucks under, tailbone tucks under, your back arches up, and as you inhale, you stretch it out long. Maximum distance between fingertips and heel, taking 5 more with your own breath. When you're stretching out long, you really stretch out long. When you're tucking under, you arch your back up and make yourself small. Keeping your navel drawing up towards your spine throughout. And then when you've done your final one, stretch out first, long, and then lower hand and knee. And sit yourself back. Bring your knees together so that you drape over your legs, bringing your forehead down to the ground. Resting your forehead on the ground or on your hands. Just taking a couple of breaths here. And then just opening your knees so you can let your abdomen relax down between your knees. Taking a couple of good breaths, feeling your abdomen fill on the inhale and ease back on the exhale. Then bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, bringing yourself to sit up, and come in to lie on your back, ready for shoulder stand. So with shoulder stand, if you have high blood pressure or if shoulder stand doesn't feel like what you need tonight, then you could take a lift of your legs, so raising your legs, and if you decide to do that, you could also place something, either a cushion or a block under your hips, and that will help your legs to lift comfortably with less effort. If you're taking shoulder stand, then come to stretch out. Bring your hands in good and close, maybe sitting on a little bit of your hands so that your elbows can be right in by your body. With your elbows in close, maybe just lifting your head, tilting your chin down, and then resting your head back against the ground. You can then lift your legs, and with your legs lifted, lift your hips, taking your hands then onto your lower back. You might want to take that with bent knees to help give you some momentum to get your legs lifted. And then once you've got that lift, firmly holding onto your lower back with your hands, taking a few moments to allow your shoulder stand to settle in. And then once you've got the measure of how your shoulder stand's feeling, then you might want to adjust it. So you might want to adjust the height of your legs. You might want to adjust the grip of your hands, either feeding your back up through your hands a little or feeding it down through your hands so your hands are more on the top of your buttocks rather than on your lower back. Keeping your upper arms pressing down into the ground. And if you're feeling here that it's taking a lot of effort to hold your shoulder stand, it's feeling it's all shaky, then you might want to come down, bring your elbows in a little closer and then lift yourself back up. The closer your elbows are, the greater the stability you'll have and the less effort it will take to hold. So holding here in your shoulder stand, keeping your gaze looking up towards your knees. I'm looking a little bit towards you all on the telly, but you should keep your gaze looking directly upwards rather than turning your head. And then from here you can hold here. If you want to come into the pose of tranquility from here, then you could take your hips back a little bit so that the weight comes out of your hands and lower one palm down to the ground and maybe the other palm down to the ground. Just adjusting your hips as you need to so that you can still stay balanced. If that feels stable and in control, you could very slowly take one arm around and see if you can let it come to rest on the shin. If one arm comes around and rests, then you could bring the other arm around. If one arm feels wobbly, then swap it back and bring the other arm around. So the process of swapping arms can help you to find your pose of tranquility. If you've got both hands on your shins, then see if you can then find that tranquility, find that balance point where you're able to hold this effortlessly. Maybe just bringing your upper back a little more onto the ground, so that especially if you feel like you've got all your weights up in your neck, then bring a little bit more of your upper back down onto the ground to keep you in a good, safe posture. So for those who've been doing the pose of tranquility for a long time, you might want to extend it by seeing if you can reach back and grab your toes. But that would be if you've been doing the pose of tranquility for some time. So wherever you are in your shoulder stand, just taking a couple of breaths, either in the pose of tranquility or in your shoulder stand. And then, if you in the pose of tranquility, bring one hand back onto your lower back, followed by the other, so you find yourself back in a shoulder stand. Taking a moment there. And then, from shoulder stand, taking your hips back again so that you can land one hand followed by the other onto the ground. Those hands on the ground are your brakes. Use them as you then slowly drape your spine back down towards the ground. So your spine just drapes down. Once your hips have landed, you can then let your legs come down to the ground. Allowing your feet to relax apart, turning your palms to face up, and taking rest. Allowing your body to adjust back to your head, your heart, your legs, all being in one straight line. And we'll take Setu Bandha, bridge pose. So bringing your feet in towards you. Your feet come reasonably close so that you may well find that you can just reach your hands down and graze the middle of your heel with your middle finger. That shows your feet are roughly in the right place. Although it does, to be honest, depend a little bit on your arm length, exactly how that works. But it's a good indicator. Let your shoulders relax. Hip feet are hip distance apart, just turning your toes very slightly towards each other. Tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling, feeling your lower back press into the ground as your tailbone tilts up. And then pressing into your feet to lift your lower back, then your middle back, then some of your upper back away from the mat. So your hips are heading up towards the ceiling. Hands and arms pressing down into the ground. Pressing into your upper arms to lift your upper back more away from the ground. And then if it feels like it's the right thing for your shoulders, you could bring your hands and interlace your fingers underneath you. Maybe taking a roll of each arm, upper arm, outwards and underneath you. Then wherever your arms are, pressing into your feet, pressing into your upper arms so that you can lift your hips a little higher so you can peel more of your upper back away from the mat. Maybe being aware of the pointy bits at the front of your hips, those bones that stick out, just seeing if you can take them a little higher and bring them back up towards you so they're heading towards the corner of the wall and the ceiling that's above your head. Taking 2 more breaths here. Seeing if you've got any more lift as you inhale. And then if your hands are underneath you, moving them out to the side and slowly descending, sending your hips towards your heels so that your spine drapes back down vertebra by vertebra. Hips land last. When they've landed, bring your knees onto your chest, take your arms around the back of your knees or the front of your knees and have a rock side to side. Then bringing that rocking to a halt in the centre, easing your head to your knees, drawing your knees down to your chest. Releasing, landing your feet down and landing your head down and coming up to sitting. And then just sitting comfortably, maybe cross-legged, whatever's comfortable. We'll release our necks, turning your head to the right, keeping your chin level so you're neither looking up nor down. Coming back to the centre and taking it over to the left. Back to the centre and the right, as far as you're comfortable to go, then back to the left and centre. So we're going to take a stretch for our hips. So come to sitting with your legs stretched out in front of you, and then if you feel it's quite an effort to keep yourself upright, sitting comfortably, do grab a block and sit yourself on a block. Then locating your right foot, reaching down and bringing it in as close towards your hips as you can. And then going for the other one, bringing your left foot in, bringing the soles of your feet together as close into you as you can. Now, your knees might not be very keen on this, and so it's absolutely fine to take your feet a little bit further forward if that's what your knees need. Then reaching your hands down and interlacing your fingers the other side of your toes. Now, if for your knees, your feet are a little bit far away, then you can be holding onto your ankles or your shins instead. With that firm grip wherever you're gripping, lifting your chest, so that you're straightening up as much as you can, pulling gently on your feet so you can ease your chest forward as you lift your chest up, and then gently starting to butterfly your knees. So it'll be a small movement at first whilst you let your hips warm up, but then you might find you can take that movement a little bit deeper so that your knees are coming a bit closer to the ground, and you might find you can start to speed that movement up a little. All the while keeping gently pulling on wherever you're holding, so you can be keeping your chest lifted and keeping yourself as straight as possible. Then bringing the butterfly into a halt, drawing more firmly on wherever you're holding so you can come up as straight as you can, lifting your chest, and then hinging from the hips, easing yourself gently forward so you're starting to bring your chest down, forward and down towards the ground. Your elbows might come into the crease between your upper and lower leg. And if your elbows do make contact, you can then be using your elbows to help press your knees down towards the ground. And then we'll use our breath here so that as you inhale, lift your chest, and as you exhale, press down a little more into your elbows. So don't lose the how far down you've gone, but the inhale is lengthening out through your upper body. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, see if you can ease down. Tune into your hips though. Just taking this as far as your hips are comfortable to go. Comfortable might not be quite the right word at this moment. So taking one more breath. A final press down of your knees on the exhale. And then as you next inhale, slowly coming back up. Lifting your knees and stretching your legs out. Taking a bit of a shape there. There are some interesting faces being pulled right now. And then from here, let's come up to standing. So actually, I'm going to come this way. No, I'm not. I'm going to start this way. So, standing on your mat, feet hip distance apart. So taking your legs then nice and wide. Not to your absolute maximum, so taking them so that they're a comfortable width. Bringing your hands onto your hips, turning your left foot in, and turning your right foot out. Then turning your hips towards your right foot. Pressing into your right foot to take your right hip back a little more. Pressing into your back foot, your left foot, see if you can bring your left hip forward a little more. Keeping your legs straight with both feet pressing down. Take your hands and either let them come behind you, separate, or bring your hands together. Again, this will depend a bit on how your shoulders are doing today. Then pressing your hands down behind you so your shoulders head back, your chest lifts. And then leading with your chest, hinge forward from your hips. So you're coming down over your right leg. As you hinge forward, your arms can then lift up towards the ceiling. Once you come as low as you can, you could then let your chest relax down, let your head relax down, so you're relaxing your neck muscles. And then using your breath so that as you inhale, you lift your arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, you relax down over your right leg. If there's any discomfort in your right knee, or if you hyperextend, then you can put a small bend into that knee. 2 more breaths. Inhaling, arms lift. Exhale, relaxing over that leg. Then on a big inhale, lower your arms as you lift up slowly. Turning your feet to face the side, bringing your hands onto your hips. Both feet face forward. And let's just take a couple of breaths before we do that on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Turning your right foot in and your left foot out. Guiding your hips around to face your left foot. Pressing into what is now your front foot, your left foot to take your left hip back. Pressing into your back foot to bring your right hip forward. And you can use your hands to assist here as well. Then with both feet pressing evenly down into the ground, bring your hands behind you, together or apart. Pressing your hands down to the ground so that your shoulders ease back, so that your chest lifts. Leading with your chest, hinge forward from your hips. Keeping both legs straight and pressing down, but do put a bend into your left knee if that's what your knee needs. So coming down slowly. Once you've come down as far as you easily can, you can start to lift your arms up towards the ceiling and let your chest and neck muscles relax so that your upper body fully relaxes over your left leg. Then you can begin to use your breath, inhaling your arms lift, exhaling you relax your upper body down a little more over that left leg. Taking one more breath. Then with a big inhale, bring yourself up slowly, lowering your hands. Turning your feet to face forward, hands on hips, heel toeing your feet back together. And then do whatever it feels like you might want to do. Might be a bit of that. Might be a bit of general shaking. Anything that just allows you to relax those legs. And then from here, we're going to take a balance. So our balance today is going to be Natarajasana, the dancer's pose. To prepare for Natarajasana, bring yourself to standing with your feet hip distance apart and your hands relaxing by your side. So balance comes best when we're feeling relaxed. So let your shoulders relax. Let your hands and arms relax. And take 2 breaths here with your eyes closed if you want to, so that on your inhale you feel the lift and rise in the body, and in the exhale you feel that subside all the way down to your feet. And opening your eyes, picking up your left foot and taking a hold of your left ankle. Once you've got a hold of your ankle, then relax. Let your balance stabilize. And bring your knees towards each other. See if you can just lift your left knee so that your left thigh bone becomes more firmly into the hip socket. So lift your right hand out in front of you. And then press that right hand forward as you hinge forward, bringing your left knee up with you. So it's almost as if your knee's staying in line with your body as you hinge forward. Then knowing that you can hold here, this is a magnificent balance. But if you wanted to take it further, you could start to press your ankle into your hand, and that might let you lift that foot up a little more. Keeping your gaze on something solid on the ground, keeping your breath steady. And as you next inhale, let your knee lower, let your body lift back up. Exhale, releasing your leg, releasing your hand. Maybe shaking that right leg out. And then for this next time, if you had something in your room, if you wanted just to have something in front of you to maybe give you a little bit of balance, if you need it, just something to tap your hand onto, then do take that. Feet hip distance, hands relaxing, shoulders relaxing. Bending your right knee, catching a hold of your right ankle. There's no rush, so give your balance time to settle. Give your body and brain a chance to adjust everything now that you've only got one point of contact with the ground. Bringing your knees towards each other. Drawing your right knee upwards so your right thigh comes firmly into the socket. Then stretching your left hand forward. Press that hand forward so that you tilt forward at the hips, taking your knee up with you. Just coming as far forward as your balance allows, lifting your knee as high as your balance allows there. Knowing that you can stay here, but if you wanted more, you could press your ankle into your hand. As you press your ankle into your hand, your knee will lift. Wherever you are, keeping steadiness in your breath. As you next inhale, lower your knee, lifting your upper body up. Exhale, releasing leg, releasing hand. Taking a shake. And then from there, it's final relaxation. So taking anything that you'd like to rest your head on, taking anything you'd like to wear to allow yourself to be comfortable and warm. Then bringing yourself to a good, comfortable lying down position. Whatever that is for you. It may well be Shavasana, feet to the corners, hands away from your body. It could be anything else that works for you. That could be knees bent. That could be the soles of your feet together. As long as it's comfortable and relaxing, it's the right posture for you. And as you lie there, just once more, check in with the back of your body against the ground. Making any final adjustments so that the contact you have is the contact you want, the contact that will allow you to be comfortable. And then knowing there's nothing you have to do for the next 2 minutes except rest and relax. I'll be keeping an eye on the clock. I won't be going anywhere. So you can just let go. And keeping your body still, gently draw and gather your awareness back. When you're ready, starting to wriggle fingers and toes. Bringing your legs together and taking your arms up overhead. So a final stretch, but make this a gentle one. Toes press forward, hands gently easing back. And then releasing. Bending your knees, bringing your knees one then the other onto your chest. Arms can come over to hug around the back or front of your knees, taking a rock side to side. Bringing that to a halt. And then landing your feet down, maybe coming to your right hand side for a breath or two. And then in your own time and your own way, bringing yourself slowly to sitting. So thank you for joining me. Wonderful to see you all. Namaste.